Well, hello there! The Sims 4 has gotten another pretty nifty base game update this summer. Glass walls. With curved walls, platforms, and half walls already in our toolbox, the only real limit to what we can build now is our imaginations. And maybe how easily we get frustrated by the game's broken mechanics. Today, I'm putting myself and the Sims to the test by recreating some incredible builds I found on Pinterest. We'll start out simple and work our way towards some surprisingly complex designs by the end of the video, so stick around, you won't want to miss it. That was incredibly shameless YouTuber jargon, I know, I'm sorry. We started off with what seemed like the easiest idea, a glass hallway, although I wasn't sure how to use that in a sentence. What does a house with a glassed hallway even look like? I hadn't planned on building the entire home around it, that just kind of happened. The hallway itself didn't really tell a story, so I decided to let it lead out to a rooftop patio area to maximize the views. I used the glass floor item from Island Living to make this possible. I do wish there were a frameless version, something that wouldn't break the view. It worked well for this inspiration picture, but later in the video it actually gets in the way. While I was building, I found myself thinking that The Sims is probably due for another extremely modern pack. It's been a while, and the modern items we have are starting to feel a bit outdated to me. I don't know, do you guys feel that way? The hallway came together nicely. I did notice that the walls are weirdly thick, and if you put columns on both sides, they create this strange optical illusion where the columns don't line up. So I only added them on the interior. Still, I do love how it looks from the inside. It's definitely an idea I'd like to come back and refine. How would you use a glass hallway? I think it'd be beautiful in a home with a central courtyard. Practicality, 0 out of 10. But beauty, 10 out of 10. Undeniably stunning. Next, I moved on to a cozy little idea, a bench in front of a window. I was really drawn to how it looked backlit, kind of like stained glass. I figured we could recreate that cozy glow using a few lighting tricks. I used fairy lights from Lovestruck, that sleek bar from high school years, and my personal favorite, the floor light from Desert Luxe. Before the lighting update, this light created the most beautiful shadows. Post-update though, does anyone else feel like lamps just aren't, lamping the way they used to? They either barely light the space or completely flood the lot. The overall world lighting is definitely more beautiful now, but we've kind of lost the ability to create those sexy, moody rooms or cozy nooks with just a few lamps. I guess that's just the nature of updating a 10-year-old game. 1 update forward, 2 updates back. That said, the little nooks turned out so cute. I'm glad I made 3 of them to try out different light and plant combinations. My favorite was the one on the far left with the vines. In hindsight, I think some of the wall ivy from cottage living would have looked really pretty too. What plant and light combo would you have used? Then I decided to try something I hadn't seen much of, using curved walls inside a structure. Was it even possible? I honestly didn't know. I did know that you can't use half walls on curved edges, which is a tragedy because think of the walk-in showers. Oh my gosh, so cute. But surprisingly, the glass wallpaper worked perfectly fine on curved walls without glitching. Was not expecting that. Here's what I discovered. You can't put a ceiling on a curved wall inside a room. Good to know, right? Still, the curved glass walls behaved much better than I expected. I thought they'd be little gremlins, but they were great. My mind immediately went to using this in a swanky lounge. a museum, an aquarium, or even a spa. There are just so many possibilities. And I'm starting to feel brave. The glass walls were absolutely eating, and I started trying things I hadn't even planned. Unfortunately, the island living ceiling hit its limits. I guess glass ceiling, you know? Anyways, there's a joke there somewhere. I'm just too tired to make it. If there were a way to do this without those harsh outlines, I'd be so happy. This little glass wall, that's so stinking cute. I'm definitely going to overuse this. Every kitchen gets a backsplash now. Glass backsplashes for days. Views in your kitchen for everybody. Next, I'd heard a rumor if you size down the fountains from Spa Day, they'll still show the running water effect in live mode. I'm sorry to report, I could not get it to work. I tested this idea with several fountains because I really wanted it to work. I think this glass wall is just so pretty with the water in front of it. I really think I could use this in so many different builds too. Like a really fancy mansion. I mean, who's that one fancy sim, you know? Oh, you know the one. I'm totally blanking on her name though. Judith Ward. She needs this in her house, doesn't she? I think she would love to have this in her house. Put a piano behind it, and then there's like water, piano, in a thunderstorm. I don't know. I see this being in every fancy house. I see it being in spas. I see it being in hotels. I feel like I've even seen this water feature in real life. And I realize you could just kind of do this with the fountains as they are. Totally understand that. But there's just something about having the glass wall there that gives it a little special like pizzazz to it, you know? Unfortunately, I couldn't get it to work. I don't think it was meant to be. And no matter how much you size down, the fountain outline only gets so small. So it doesn't go completely away either, and you end up having to hide it. I hid it with another really weird statue, and then I tried to do some lighting things, but the lighting wasn't actually working. I don't know. In theory, it's a really cool concept. Maybe one day I will figure out a way to make it work with actual fountain emitters. I think that's definitely a possibility, maybe. But today is not that day. I'm very sorry. But in the future, if you see something like this and it does work, you can know the origin story of it now. So that's fun for you. Let's pretend that never happened and move on to this beautiful courtyard build. The brick and greenery combination from the inspiration photo was too gorgeous to pass up. I had to try it. The more skilled builder probably would have done this more eloquently with more roof pieces and better coverage. I did it the quick and dirty way, hiding a roof in half walls and dragging the eaves. It wasn't perfect, but it definitely gets the job done. You can see that I did try to do this the more eloquent way. I know I've done that in the past, and it would kind of be similar to how you might do, an A-frame house, you know? Those are super easy to build, but for some reason my brain just was not braining. By the time I was trying to build this, I know it's bright and sunny in build land, but it's actually starting to get dark because about the time I'm trying to build this, it is around 8:30-ish. And I had started filming at like 11 a.m. So my brain was kind of done, and you can see here that I'm going, yeah, we're just gonna skimp. We're just gonna do this the easy peasy lemon squeezy kind of way. However, I don't think I should have done that because in the end, it actually ended up raining indoors. Or maybe because of the way I built this, it didn't count the room as a room and thought the whole build was outside, so it ended up raining inside on my Sims. I don't know. I guess this is maybe just a me thing, but I do think that if there's a roof over an area, maybe there shouldn't be rain inside that area. I'm not like a physics expert. I don't really know a lot about the laws of nature, but I do think that's how it should work. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy for wanting that. Anyways, the roofing isn't perfect, but it did get the job done. And looking back, I think the inner ceiling could have been dressed up with fence pieces or wooden beams. And it might sound like I'm unhappy with this build, but I'm really not. I promise I'm not. This was actually my favorite build of the whole video. I'm just making mental notes because I plan to rebuild it and upload a polished version with custom content to Patreon. Surprise! Leave a like or comment if you'd want this build available to download. My save file is going to have an orchard, and I think this structure would be absolutely perfect for that lot. I could also see it fitting into worlds like Tartosa or Solani if you kind of change out the brick for like a textured wall. Also, if you've got ideas for how we could use this in New Willow Creek, please let me know. Y'all have way better ideas than I do. Anyway, I loved this one. And after that confidence boost, I decided to move on to something much more difficult. I wanted to recreate this glowing floor effect that was really inspirational by placing round walls over a pool or fountain. In theory, it sounded brilliant. In practice, not so much. They say hindsight is 20/20, but even with my glasses on, I could never hope to see that clearly. This idea was doomed from the start. I spent about an hour trying every combination I could think of: round walls, round pools, round fountains, round basements, round second floors. None of it worked. The mechanics just wouldn't cooperate. What was meant to be my greatest triumph quickly turned into a complete failure. So now I'm passing the challenge on to you, lovely viewers. If you manage to pull this off, if you somehow crack the code of round walls and glowing floors, please tag me on social media. I want to see someone do this justice. Just as I was about to shut everything down, I saw this beautiful little image on Pinterest, something I'd saved long ago and forgotten. The bright colors gave me a sudden surge of energy I couldn't end the video on a failed smoker's lodge. We needed to end with victory, people. Sure, the picture was AI modified and I had to get creative to make it work, but that just meant more room for imagination. And that's how building should feel: fun, creative, and personal. This little guy is just so stinking adorable. It's actually saved on my Pinterest board for Ghibli-inspired builds because one day I'd maybe like to do a save file that is entirely Ghibli-inspired. I think that would be so fun and just my dream come true. I already know which custom content I want to use for it. I have been tracking down Ghibli CC for years, and I even have some videos on it if you want to check those out. Wow, second shameless YouTuber point of the video. Am I becoming a professional YouTuber? No, I'm not. I'm really not. But thank you for enduring those moments. Anyways, this build, I didn't go as bright as the picture. I did a little bit more pastel. I also wanted to add a few things to make it more livable, because obviously in real life you could have a tiny micro shack and be comfortable, but in The Sims you have to have space for things like fridge, stove, bathroom, blah 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 blah. Everything has to take up a tile. So yeah, that's it. I think this turned out just so stinking cute. I'm so pleased with it. I'll never get over this little seaside shack. If I lived in a colorful village straight out of a Ghibli film, I'd sell rare books. Odd little treasures that seem to find me as I travel. They don't always stay where I put them, but they always find the person who needs them the most. Kind of like in The Cat Returns, if anybody has seen Whisper of the Heart or The Cat Returns. 10 out of 10, recommend both of those movies. Have you ever found something like that? A strange little item in an antique store or dusty bookshop that felt like it had been waiting for you? Wow, this video was weird, but I had so much fun and I hope you did too. I'd love to do more videos like this. If you want to see more, leaving a like is a great way to tell me that. How are you using glass walls? I'd love to hear about your creative exploits. And if you're up for it, tag me in your screenshots. I'm SnugglyPixels pretty much everywhere. Thanks for hanging out with me in these strange, uncertain Sims times. Take care, and I hope your day is as wonderful as you are.